Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video I'm going to be going through the 9 markers that we didn't go through at the end of the last video, which is the end of the paper 2 for the exam board Edexcel. So question 12 says, evaluate the need for an endurance athlete to maintain a balanced diet. And I've highlighted my AO1 marks, my AO2 marks and my AO3 marks for you to make it easier for you to see how I got the marks and to break it down for you. So, starting off with, a balanced diet will allow the endurance athlete to maintain the correct weight so that they will be the optimum weight to perform. This is a quick fact, like it's just stating something, so that's your AO1. An endurance athlete has to be quite light because excess fat or muscle will mean that the body will have to use unnecessary energy, which will result in the athlete not running as fast. So that's an example of why they need to be light, so that's an AO2, giving a reason for something. A balanced diet would also help to provide essential nutrients for the body to function and prevent health issues. Again, that's your AO1, you're stating a fact. An endurance athlete would need to stay hydrated during long runs to reduce the risk of headaches. So there we've given an example of what they need to do to their diet, which is stay hydrated, and then we've said why that is, and that's to reduce the risk of headaches. So, more water would be needed than a usual balanced diet, so an endurance athlete would need to manipulate their diet. So here that's the summary, that's the AO3 mark, where we're making a evaluative comment saying that more water would be needed, so that's your AO3 marks. Proteins would help with muscle growth and repair, which wouldn't need to be consumed as much as a sprinter because endurance athletes don't need large muscles. So at the start we've got that proteins, the statement about proteins, so that would get you your AO1, and then we jump straight in with an evaluative comment saying that endurance athletes wouldn't need to consume as much as a sprinter, and saying that as much shows that you're comparing it between the sprinter and the endurance athlete, which on the mark schemes they really like to see. Carbohydrates provide long-lasting energy. However, endurance athletes would want to consume more carbohydrates than normal because they need the long-distance energy for aerobic work. So we've said that they need the long-lasting energy, and then we're given an example why they need these carbohydrates. So they need this for their aerobic work. And then you could put an evaluative comment in there saying that they need more carbohydrates than a sprinter because they last for longer. The duration of their event is longer, Fats would be less useful to an endurance athlete because they do not want to experience weight gain. So again, we've compared it, we've used an evaluative comment to say why they do not want fats, and evaluating the usefulness of fats in their diet and deciding that it is not very useful because obviously you don't want weight gain. An endurance athlete may need to manipulate their diet in order to have a positive impact on their performance, such as carbohydrate loading before an event. So, maintaining a balanced diet is quite important for endurance athletes, especially during training, but is also important for dietary manipulation to occur to provide optimal energy for the event. So that's a good AO3 kind of paragraph bit, showing that it will have a positive impact and it is quite important. So you're giving an evaluation there saying how much importance it has. However, you're also throwing in there that dietary manipulation needs to occur. For example, carbohydrate loading will provide the athlete with long-lasting energy, which will make sure that they can last the duration of the race. So there you've just got your conclusion sentence, which I've used an AO2 for, saying that carbohydrate loading is used to provide them with the long-lasting energy. On to question 13 now. It says, evaluate the use of visual and verbal guidance to improve sports performance with a group of beginners in badminton. So we really need to identify here that it's a group of beginners, so they're obviously not going to be experienced with any of the skills, so they may need to use different techniques, and the coach may need to implement different techniques in order to help teach them. And again, I've highlighted your AO1, AO2 and AO3. Starting off, I've said visual guidance is showing the performer the skill through a demonstration or a video in order to allow them to create a mental picture of what the skill should look like. So there's your statement about visual guidance, what it is, allowing the performer to create a mental picture through a demonstration or video. For example, a coach may demonstrate a skill. Visual guidance would be best used when demonstrating a badminton serve so that the beginners can see what is required. So here we've given an example of a kind of skill that would be most useful with visual guidance, which would be a serve, and then we've also said why that is. And then we need to throw in some positives and negatives because we're evaluating the use of them. So visual guidance is good for groups and the performers can easily copy movements. However, if the demonstration is poor, the incorrect movement may be learned and complex and quick movements may be difficult to copy. So there you're just throwing in 2 positives and 2 negatives in order to gain access to the higher bands of the mark. Verbal guidance is spoken information to help the performer understand the skill. So there's your AO1, your statement about it, such as the coach explaining how to do a smash. Verbal guidance would be best used when giving quick instructions to the badminton player, such as where they should be positioned on court. So there we've given a good example of where where verbal guidance would be used, and that would be used when positioning, so the coach can easily tell the performer where they should be standing, and you don't often need a demonstration for that. Verbal guidance is good as instructions are given quickly and clearly. It can be used during the performance, however, the coach may have poor communication skills, so the guidance wouldn't be as effective and some movements are difficult to explain. So again, we've put the positives and negatives in there to help get us those evaluative marks. And then we finish off with visual and verbal guidance can be combined to give the most effective guidance as a coach can explain the movements happening in a demonstration. So here we've just identified that both can be used both can be combined together to give a more effective method of guidance and allowing beginners to be taught in a more effective way. So I hope that has helped you guys in learning about how to structure the 9-mark questions.